for liberation just have vastly different understandings of what liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is a really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, your one-stop shop for in-depth commentary and discussion on, yes, this week's and last week's Star Wars comics. It is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. It's the 45th week of comics in 2025. That's right. We're inching ever closer to that 52 mark, although we'll never actually hit the 52 mark because that is New Year's Eve. We'll get to that later. I'm Matthew, coming to you from Underworld North here in Toronto. That's Chris coming to you from Underworld, New Jersey. Election day +1. Chatting politics. It's a fun thing we do. How you doing, Chris? Oh, you're muted on your microphone, I think.
Yeah, I steer clear of politics every freaking chance I get, so you're not going to get much of a conversation out of me.
I know.
Because it just adds to freaking unrest, and I'm not dealing with this. I'm here to talk about comics, have fun, and it's going to be cool because after this week we're going to be finally caught up after the entire month of October trying to play catch up on all this stuff. So
we caught up, sort of, because I don't know if we'll be able to leave the Path of the Lightsaber next week. But we'll
we're talking about that here. I didn't know.
Why not? Why not? It's a comic. It's a manga. But we'll have to move it to another week, is what we'll likely do. Anyway, I'll figure that out also.
We were so close.
I know we were so close. Maybe we will be able to do it. Let's see. It's possible. Anyway, we got comics to do this week. We also got an insider short story. My insider finally came in, so we'll get to that as well. But let's get to the plugs. You can follow us on Blue Sky at thetractorbeam.biscuit.social. You can follow if you want Twitter, Instagram, etc. Check out at the SWU. Ben has got all the comics and books and everything news, Star Wars news going on there over on the flagship socials. Let them handle it. And everything Chris is up to, youtube.com/starraptor, that's STARRAPTER, and twitter.com/starraptor, STARRAPTER. Also, if you prefer to listen to your podcast as opposed to just watch them, I believe you can listen on YouTube now. I don't know how that works with the audio, but it's there. Spotify, Apple, everywhere else you get your audio podcasts, that will go up right after we record. So check that out. It's Tractor Beam Star Wars Comics Reviews is what we are there. Give that a search. Of course, we're probably part of the Star Wars Underworld podcast network here on the Underworld YouTube channel. We got super chats. We got YouTube memberships. As I say every week, if you chat with us down in the comments, we are happy to get to the comment when we can. We're happy for the conversation, happy for the engagement, as the lingo goes. But if you super chat with us, if you're willing to contribute to the channel and to the network, we will get to your comment immediately, even if it has nothing to do with Star Wars, nothing to do with Star Wars comics. We'll get to it immediately. It could be, what our favorite flavor of ice cream is, and mine is chocolate. There we go. Please do. We're grateful for any.
Oh no! Don't ask that question. I had a crazy story with a Halloween adventure about that very question. It did not go the way you would think after that question was asked to me in a haunted house.
Okay, well, now I'm curious, but that's that doesn't have to do with Star Wars comics. So let's move it along, and I'll ask you after off air. There we go. There we go. Yes, on the Underworld YouTube network, also the Underworld Discord server. When we bring Joel on later, we'll bring him up to talk about the events that are going on in the Discord. But down in the description below, you can find a link to get in there and to chat and hang out and talk about Star Wars, talking about all sorts of other things. Definitely talking about Visions, I do believe, and so yeah, and just different news and theories and things happening in the galaxy far, far away, and every other franchise. If you want to join in there, different game nights and things like that as well. Again, we'll pick those plugs up at the end, but let's dive right in. Finally, my issue of Star Wars Insider came in. see in the
Dude,
flesh.
that
In
came
the
in like a
flesh.
month ago for me.
Yeah, I think it was there was the Canada Post strike might have had some effect on it. But this is the Crimson Corsair, the short story in there in issue 234, the Crimson Corsair and the Sinister Secret of the Binary Star. I believe I got that right. And that is written by Landry Walker. I don't think there's any special art. I think it's just a photo of Mr. Sidon Othano. And I was like going to this story. I was like, okay, it's these short stories don't necessarily feel that short all the time. Even the High Republic ones felt like they kind of went on, and it's High Republic, so I ate it up because I love High Republic. But here, there's this sequel era bounty hunter. Am I gonna be interested in this? I mean, yes, it's Star Wars, but it's not my usual fare. So I start reading it, of course, because I'm gonna look at it, I'm gonna review it, and I start to get really hooked in. I really get gripped by the way this one little short story is actually kind of 3 or 4 little stories of these backstories of these characters that we've met in another short story like novella, way back when, including Kix, the Count Dooku, whatever it's called. When we the Crimson Corsair, of course, he hits a second cameo in The Force Awakens, and then, oh, that looks cool. His design looks cool. Let's write a short story. And here we pick up with those characters and that crew. And I mean, the main thing you remember is Kix from the Clone Wars, from the 501st. He was frozen, and now he's part of this pirate crew. Anyway, I really enjoyed the way it there's this star weird creature. I don't know if it's like a space fish or something. Anyway, tapping into on this Star Destroyer that's stuck in these binary stars, tapping into the fears and the anxieties. I mean, these were traumas of these characters from their backstory, and digging into the origin stories of even the Gamorrean eating this feast, and then finding, oh yeah, there's this clan on the other hill, they're coming to get us, and the way Gamorreans are. But also, of course, Kix himself being shot back into the Clone Wars, and there's Rex and Tech and not Tech, but all the 501st, those guys. I forget who
Jesse, I think, maybe.
Yeah, Jesse's definitely named in there, and the way it's a real exploration of the way, I guess, we use this word trauma, but the way trauma just sticks into your body, and there's a lot of psychologists talk about it's the body keeps score, sticks into your body, into your neural net, and because there's got to be something for the Star Weird to tap into, and so I really enjoyed, even like Chris, you teased this up when we talked about this first, the Order 66 moment. Oh yeah, Order 66, and it felt so natural. That's the thing. It wasn't doing these moments, the one character with the cybernetic arm, but she's shot back to her childhood where her mother is taken from her because she's in these slave pits. None of these stories felt like they were being told for the sake of being told. It felt that they were being told for the sake of really more deeply introducing us to these characters that, frankly, I'd kind of forgotten about. But getting their backstory, getting into how they navigate that in this present day, and then of course Sidon Othano himself, who is plans all this as though, yeah, they're going to be a distraction for what I'm really after is this Star Weird. Who knows what he's going to do with it, but he's able to capture it, I believe, if I can call that correctly, and yeah, they're able to capture it, and hopefully, I mean, they do know, they eventually learn, okay, was it worth it? Let's hope. Lastly, this mouse droid that has the brain of this murder droid, and that was the fine comic relief where both Ithano, Crimson Corsair, and H8 is the name of the droid. They're both not affected by the Star Weird because, of course, One's a droid and one's outside the ship. And so this is comic relief, kind of like 000 and BT. It really reminded me of them, the kind of the comedic murder droids who just delight in the misfortune of organic characters, except that unlike 000 and BT, again, like I said, he's a mouse droid, so the most he can do is bonk into the guys. Does end up flicking the switch to send the ship into the sun, into that star, but yeah, almost meets with the same misfortune as everyone else, but is rescued. So all in all, again, a fun story. I didn't want to put it down. I put it down to get back to the election coverage. I didn't want to put it down because it was enjoyable. I did pick it up, of course, the finish, but yeah, it was a fun little story. Kind of curious what happens next. I mean, especially with Kicks, my prequelist sensibilities there. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this one. Chris, if you can recall, what are your thoughts, what are your feels on the Crimson Corsair and the sinister secret of the binary star? What a mouthful of a title.
Yeah, the only thing I remember about this one, quite frankly, is Kicks, and that's the only thing I cared about going into this, because I was hoping to see the character of just the idea of I could just talk for like an hour about the idea of like a clone trooper being basically 35 40 years in the future in this different complete era of time, and the idea that they're working with mercenaries is such a cool idea. I mean look what happened with the Bad Batch. They're a mercenary group, so similar feel working with pirates. Again, what happens in this day and age, what happens when this is during the Force Awakens, right? Where is this in the timeline?
Sometime around there, I don't know.
Would it be after Rise of Skywalker for all we know? I don't even know. It's been so long since I read it. I guess they didn't make any hints.
It isn't clear
or anything.
I wondered about that, but it isn't clear. No.
Okay, but regardless of the fact, it's still cool to have a sequel trilogy story about the mercenaries. Most of the times we get stories about this era of time, it's always the Resistance versus the First Order. So fleshing out the corner of the galaxy, that's a seedier corner of the galaxy, while dealing with like the weird creatures and using them as a vehicle for flashbacks is a really cool, unique, original idea. That I think for an insider short story, I think it's pretty effective storytelling with the limited real estate they have to tell a one-shot story. Right, this is not the continuation of Tales from the Occlusion Zone where they're building off of a story every month. This is just a one and done. Let's get in here. And now, granted, these are characters we've known from the 2015, I think, novella. I think that came out like right after the movie did, or something like that, or right before.
Something like that.
So yeah, I mean, I do remember enjoying. It's funny because it seems like a lifetime ago that I read this thing, just because it's been so busy with Star Wars books and comics this month. Like going from Jaws of Jakku, the audiobook, to the Finn and Janna novel. I just reread the first arc of Darth Vader in prep for Master of Evil coming out on Tuesday. So I've been like, just, as soon as one thing's done, I'm reading another thing. So for me, like, and I had no notes on this one, so that's why my thoughts gravitate toward, Kix is a cool character. I liked how he showed up. Everything else was the way I just said. So
Crimson Corsair and the Lost Treasure of Count Dooku is a short story by Landry Walker. Published as an ebook. This is from the Wook. Published as an ebook almost 10 years ago, November 30th, 2015. So then the Tales from the Galaxy Far, Far Away, Aliens Volume 1, which I don't know if there was ever a Volume 2, but that came out in April 2016. So coming full circle with this crew. Wild that we kind of remember from way back when, but again, one thing it brings up is I'm curious to what happens next. It makes me want more, and especially because I remember, Athano, he justifies or wants to get this Star Weird because he's about to fight a war. Like there's a war on. Is that the First Order conflict, or is it something else? Sorry. So see, I mean, the Crimson Corsair 31 ABY, which is just before the Force Awakens. So the Lost Treasure of Count Dooku is just before the Force Awakens, according to the Wook. And then trying to see when you also wrote Honey on Jakku. Also the other ones. Okay, let's see. Galactic Tales, Crimson Corsair. We're doing research right now. It doesn't say when. It says no earlier than 31 ABY. So we don't know. We don't know when this one's set. But that's okay. It was exciting story, fun story. No, I want more. So there we go. Any last thoughts on this one? All right. Speaking of kind of one and done, kind of one shot-ish, I believe. We got finally catching up to this one. Boba Fett, Black, White, and Red, #2. It's written by Saladin Ahmed, art by Ramon Rosanas, letters by VC's Joe Caramagna, and cover by Derek Chu. Time to pay the piper. Samu is a down on his luck criminal, always running from his problems, but he can't outrun Boba Fett. Witness one of the greatest bounty hunters in the galaxy stalk his prey and blast a few Slemos while he's at it. Will the galaxy's most notorious hunter capture one of his sneakiest bounties yet? Because I'll throw this one to you. What do you think of Boba Fett, Black, White, and Red, #2?
Oh, I thought this was no shorter, nothing short of amazing. This was a standout issue. I already knew going in. This author is such a wordsmith, such a great storyteller. Primarily, I believe he is a novelist. He actually wrote a Star Wars novella in a way with the predated Last Jedi Journey to book that had like 4 different Canto Bight stories in it.
He wrote Tales from Canto Bight.
Yeah, I guess that's the name of it. And I think he wrote at least 1 or 2 from a certain point of view stories. So he's no stranger to Saladin Ahmed's no stranger to Star Wars, that's for sure. And what I love so much about the story is it really is, in a nutshell, it's kind of like this relationship of the father with the son who's involved with crime is in fact a reflection of Boba Fett's father, Jango Fett, and him as a boy. And I thought that was really cool, really sentimental in a way that Boba Fett like acknowledges that to allow the father to have that time at the end to like spend those few minutes with his son, knowing he's going to go away to prison, but like this experience has changed him. And even the son acknowledges that and says that line. And he was saying, like, I'm going to do my time. I'm not going to run away. You're not going to be able to see what's in front of you necessarily and think, because you're always on the go. So I really love that from like a deep, like this thing hit me deep. Like it's a lot deeper than I would have ever expected from a freaking Boba Fett one-shot story that's just mainly about violence. That's what these are. The avenues of these are just for the comic book medium of like, let's just push the envelope and have crazy action sequences like what has happened before with Darth Vader and Darth Maul. So to get to see that front and center, of course, like I think the colors on this were so good. I absolutely love them. Like they hit me immediately. Roman Rosanos and everybody involved, the team on the art was so good when it comes to that. I like the buildup of the fear and the notoriety of Boba Fett. Like the idea that like, oh, Samu the Scurrier, aka Myolak or whatever his name is like the best in the galaxy at running away. But then he's like, yeah, but have you ever ran away from the best hunter in the galaxy? So that's a cool conundrum there. The idea of like Boba Fett in a race against time, actually trying to save somebody, whereas the other guy's actually trying to kill them. So those are my first thoughts on this one. It's like very good. This is my favorite one so far. I know we've only had 2. We're gonna have 4, but so far this is a pretty high bar because it gets more in the weeds, more in the depth than just let's go on a mission and kill people.
Right. It was a very different sort of black, white blood, black, white, red. Right. I mean, Vader, Maul, Scarlet Witch, Wolverine. You know, these are. I mean, Boba Fett too. He's. I mean, you could do if it was DC, you could do Batman very easily. I mean, I'm sure there's a Batman, a DC version of this. You know, usually they are darker. Usually they are definitely, like you said, more violent. This one, I didn't seem all that violent, frankly. Yeah, there's some shooting, but it was more 2 things. Yeah, like you really hit on the character depth. And anytime, at least in the last few years, especially, we've seen Boba Fett encounter, especially a father-child relationship, even a father-daughter relationship, or especially a father-son relationship, he's brought back to Geonosis, right? He's brought back to, okay, I didn't have this time with my father, therefore I don't want to. I'm going to be careful. There's part of me that doesn't want to take this away from this other kid and the father and his father, and so that that always pulls on Boba's heartstrings. It pulls on our heartstrings. Great contrast with this other crew that's chasing him down, like you said, and then his sister comes up and bargain, like the Samu's sister comes up and bargains, says, "I'll help you, just don't kill him. Send him to this prison planet instead." And that even though he's being sent to a prison planet, but it's this weird hopeful moment. Is the thing. It's this weird hopeful story of who knows, he's down on his luck, he's a criminal. I don't know what the justice in this is, but at the very least there's compassion and possibly that this kid, well, he can go find his aunt is right there to help raise him, hopefully. And the end, Samu's like, I don't care about escaping so I can go run. I care about escaping so I can be with my son. And like you mentioned, seeing what's in front of you. So that was really fantastic. The other thing I want to say is, again, we've mentioned this quite a lot. I use this word so much: cinematic or really visual, incredible movement. Roman Rosanas is able to infuse in this, the chase scenes, using those heat blanket things, not the tarp things, kind of reminding me of Batu of Black Spire Outpost a little bit there. But also when the ship comes and get this full-size page, my tablet's charging, so I can't bring it up, but full-size page, you really get, even like my tablet's actually smaller than a normal comic book size. I'm gonna hopefully change that someday, but you feel the size of the ship looming, kind of like in Book of Boba Fett, right, with in the Sarlacc pit, looming over the Sarlacc pit. It felt like that quite a bit, and so again, really effective use. Again, that's another thing that underscores what's so different about this is, I mentioned with number 1, number 2, there's also issue number 2. There's also far more red and gray, red and white, and a little bit of gray, not as much black, and that really gives a different feel of, again, similar carrying forward, black, white blood, and then the red for Maul and Vader. It's the red of the lightsaber, this very dark Sith weapon. The red of Maul's skin or tattoos. But in this, it's the accents in his armor and that part of the ship that's red. And the blaster bolts and all that. But it's the white. It gives this feel of a bit more hopeful, a bit more attention on character, and I really appreciate it. I mean, I'm here for the dark. I mean, I got the Vader Treasury Edition down there. I'm gonna pick up the Maul one eventually, just because the visuals in that are so spectacular. But this one, really well done. Just again, I love that they're reinventing it. It makes me want to pick up the black white blood ones too. But I love the reinventing. I think they might have done a Venom one. That makes sense. I don't know, but I love the reinventing what this run can be more than just hack them up, send them on dark missions and all that. So those are my thoughts. I'll let you add some more if you have any.
No, good opening salvo there. Agree with everything you said there on this. I like the one point of the flamethrower. I thought the flamethrower with that accent just looked marvelous. Just flame on, just take the guy out. CV the talking droid. Great new addition. I mean, coming off of Star Wars Visions Volume 3, such amazing droids featured in that anthology anime series for Star Wars.
To finish. Sorry.
It's okay. I strongly recommend watching like maybe 1, maybe 2 max a day.
Yeah.
I feel like with that series, you definitely don't want to binge them. I binged it. It got a little tiresome, but I digress. Just because a lot of stories have similar themes. So it's almost like, okay, I kind of seen this like 5 minutes ago kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But
the droid in the comic is a great addition. Yeah.
Yeah. So the comic, yeah, he's definitely something that stood out to me. But yeah, I mean, another great addition. I know next time we have our pal Ethan Sachs writing.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that because I haven't really looked into the preview art for that. I know they put it out there. Haven't looked at it, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. Definitely. I mean, looking forward to. I mean, we love everything Ethan does. He's able to. Another author is really able to do Underworld stories that are character driven. I mean, that's Bounty Hunters. I mean, in my mind, this is a bit of a tangent, but Tonga, to my mind, is more important in that than Byler. A new character that Ethan developed. So, yeah, what Ethan can do with Boba Fett. I mean, he's written Boba Fett before, but in this specific medium where he goes, maybe bringing together the action a little more with the character depth. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's all I got. If you have more to go through, I'm sure you have plenty.
Yeah, no, it's for me. It came out at a good week because this came out alongside of Dr. Aphra, so it was a great week for me because that one really hit as well for a finale, and this one just continues to just add in stories for Boba Fett that like flesh out this character more of just a one-dimensional character that he's been over the last 40 years. So he's got some other gray area. It's not just black and white with him. So
yeah, I mean, I'll say I mentioned Geonosis. Like Attack of the Clones really added, and people probably weren't too thrilled of it because it goes under the mask, if you will. But I think that really added this layer and this avenue for storytellers to move forward in. Definitely Clone Wars really went there. So yeah, I mean, if they can do a version of the duel or something with Cad Bane or something like that, yeah, that would be great. But yeah, he's definitely anything to do with his father, and so that's another thing I'm excited for Ethan because he's written Jango Fett, who's the official character of the Tractor.
Yes,
a prequel about
yeah. There we go. I want another follow-up series. I want an ongoing. Here we go. Down set.
Yeah,
another ongoing series.
So, all right. I think we can move on, and to do that, we got our resident sequelist bringing you in, Mr. Joel Davis. Joel, how are you doing?
You think a Palpatine black, white, and red could work? Or I would love to see some weird Sith visual with that.
Maybe. Also, Palpatine black, white, blue with the Force.
I mean, it's a cool idea, but it seems Lucasfilm just like Yoda just doesn't want to do anything like solely focused on. Well, no, they have talked about Yoda. They have given us a miniseries. I feel like the Emperor is like the last piece standing with like the shadow of this character. They don't want to touch it. Charles Soules many times has said he'd be the one to do it. I think if anybody, he's going to be the one to do it. But maybe it would be good because if they had him as an anthology, you wouldn't have to like take those stories as seriously as canon. So it might be the actual way to do a Palpatine story rather than, oh, everything we're about to do is going to be, with a fine magnifying glass on every word, making sure this is good. You know what I mean?
I just think just have Palpatine do like 6 Sith rituals and mess people up with like monstrous spells and stuff. Then
he's in the Maul book. Yeah, go back to Emperor. He's in the Maul book. He's in the Vader book, I think. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, some focus. Maybe black, white, blue. just the Force lightning. I don't know. Anyways, Joel, how's it going? Welcome to the track. Back to the tractor beam. Long
It's
time no
going
see.
well. Glad to be back.
Right on. As promised at the top, Discord server. How's the Discord server going? What's going on in there?
Excellent. Last week we did a Star Wars Visions watch party where we watched all of Visions. Then this week we'll be doing a game night as usual. So we're probably going to play Fortnite because the Simpsons map just showed up and a new Disney map is coming tomorrow.
Right.
Make sure you update your Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
And if anyone wants to play anything else, we'll do that too. So enjoy. Yes. It'll be 6 p.m. Pacific, 9
So
p.m.
jealous. So jealous because like the last 3 Fridays I've been so busy with like stuff outside of work and whatnot. So I haven't been able to jump on, but there's been a couple weeks where I was like, I'm having fun where I am, but it would be fun to be playing a game with you guys right now as well. So.
Like it's California Adventure, right? Like I saw the image, I saw the photo or something.
I thought with a catch-all kind of map.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit of elements of everything.
That's interesting. I might check it out. We'll see. All right. Anyway, we brought you on for a very wonderful specific reason because we got Legacy of Vader. It came out today. We're doing a comic book that came out today. Believe it or not, this one is, of course, written by number 10, written by Mr. Charles Soule, art by Luke Ross, colors by Nolan Woodard, letters also by VC's Joe Caramagna, and cover also by Derek Chu. Dark visions in the depths of Vader's castle. Kylo Ren goes on a quest through unseen caverns within Vader's castle. The young tyrant comes face to face with grotesque visions of his past. Can Kylo make his way out of the depths of darkness with his sanity intact? Joel, I'll ask you this. Did you make it through with your sanity intact? And what did you think of this book, this comic book?
My sanity has never been intact. No, I did. I don't know what they're saying. No, I quite enjoyed this book quite a lot. Very visually scary, lots of interesting things. Of course, we'll talk about the big one with the return of one Master Luke Skywalker talking to Ben Solo / Kylo Ren. Well, I think all know who he's really talking to. We'll get to that. The end kind of moments, and of course, whatever Vinay is plotting, whatever his angle is, as we enter the kind of the final stretch of this comic. But no, I think this is really interesting. I think it's going to be a very interesting 3-part arc. I guess that's my guess. It's sort of as we're now entering like the weird Force stuff, which Charles always does. Which to be fair, almost every Vader book, even though this one it has a Force vision moment. We had it with obviously the Gillen run. We had it with Vader's castle in Soul's run. It happened a bunch of times in the Pack run because that run was forever. So I felt like it had like 3 times happen. So I think we're now it's Kylo's turn to have the Force visions moment, and it was very interesting, and it was kind of cool to see, I guess, Force heaven, for lack of a better term, or whatever, Force Ghost Land. I don't know, the netherworld of the Force, maybe, where all the Force Jedi hang out and chill out, and these are like the cool kids, and Luke's just chilling. And I am curious to get your opinions on one of the last visions.
Same.
Because I don't think it is who we might think it is, but I'll be curious to see what you guys think as we get to kind of break it down. But no, overall, pretty great. Yeah, pretty great issue.
No. Yeah. Well, so I mean, Charles Soule run. I mean, the thing, his Vader run the Force vision stands out is the "I am your father" moment, right? With Palpatine and Obi-Wan. That's in the last issue, I believe. So yeah, I mean, definitely going into it, this one made me think like this is Kylo Ren's Dagobah Cave. I know he goes to the Dagobah Cave in Age of Resistance, and Snoke takes him there, and he ends up destroying the thing. But this was really the testing and the pushing in this case, because that cave didn't really test him. So yeah, fantastic issue, really really spectacular. Different things going on. We'll dive into that. Chris, opening salvo, what were your thoughts and feels on this comic?
Yeah, this is basically the kind of storyline I was hoping we get in the Rise of Skywalker. Honestly, I'm like
Huh.
Luke
Yep.
on the mind of Kylo and coming into some sort of confrontation with him in a way again. It was just something that seems like it's from a dream. Like this, it obviously was a dream, but like something I wish I could have seen on the screen in a way that would have been really evocative and cool, like the way we were having it presented here. Just walking around, stomping around Fortress Vader. Just love that location in Star Wars. Just a very hellish, just evil place. And then we have him trying to tread in his grandfather's footsteps, as always, like him almost killing Vanya, like really close to just that helmet shatters, he's done. The little clasp bowl he's wearing is not going to protect them for much. The kind of Last Jedi sort of vibe I got from like what Rey did with the mirror room was what I was feeling with Kylo going to the vault. So I want to know what that's all about. Obviously, he went into the meditation chamber to try to have this other, thinking idea of figuring it out, but getting led down to these other like really horrific sequences. Maybe you guys can help me point out all the heads because there's like one or two that I just don't recognize. Of the things attached with the spines. I'm like, who is this person with the white hair?
That could be Hux. I think it's like, I know it's like Han, Leia, Snoke. I think Luke.
I got the images
Vader.
pulled up here on the computer.
How many heads are there? I got 5. I counted 5 people so far.
So I'm looking.
Orlando.
This is page 9.
Okay, I'll look at my.
I can show it. I don't know if this is visible here. Man,
so I can see a little bit.
Luke Ross. Oh my word, Luke Ross. No, really. Like the greens and the grays and everything. So grotesque, so wonderfully grotesque.
Okay, I see Rey, Leia, Han, Chewie, Luke, Lando, Snoke, Vader. I don't know who this blonde person is with the braids in their hair.
On the left. What I mean. It almost looks like
is that one of the students from the Rise of Fall Kylo Ren comic?
Maybe. It could be
reminds
me of Battle of the Sun. Or it could be the Jedi that we just saw a few issues ago.
That image of Vader's helmet, though, with the exposed skeletal remains, looks just that is freaking disturbing. Like that is horrifying. But anyway, like looking at this, seeing Kylo like symbolically using a red and a blue lightsaber is just so perfect. Like, I love that there. Seeing more images every time I see more images of Luke and Ben Solo fighting in flashbacks against these like droid type beings. I'm like, oh, I want to see it. I want to see either a comic or an animated series, one or the other. Would love to see it because there's just so much cool stuff. The outfits that Luke and Ben are wearing, and just oh man, so many callbacks. Like you're saying, this heaven. What is this thing? This other ethereal plane that they're on. Like there's so much here. Again, I keep going back to
Ghost Heaven.
That interview that Charles Soule had on one of the podcasts. I think it might have been Splash Page or somebody else. Who said Lucasfilm seriously had a hard time okaying some of these things I went to. Some of these ideas I presented with Lucasfilm, they might have had to go back and forth with me a few times because I was maybe doing something that they never have done before, something along those lines. And I'm like, all right, this is this Force stuff being presented in a comic book first with Luke and everything else that we'll get into. It's just like, wow, this is some pretty groundbreaking stuff for the medium, but for the franchise. So really enjoyed it as always when it comes to this comic book.
That's the second time this year he's done something like that, right? With the Shikari and Planet X and keeping the balance and like this sort of almost Mortis level, or the in that Yoda arc where he goes into the center of the galaxy. That level of galactic Force mysticism. Wild he gets away with it. How he gets away with that, I have no idea. But how he gets away with it.
That probably means they're not going to deal with it on screen if he gets away with it. That's my cynical take.
But also, the way he gets away with it is character. This is about, and maybe let's go into the ending first. Because I think we feel like we want to get into that. This is about just how important Luke is to Ben's story, right? We did get, I mean, the thing is, we did get something of this at the end of Last Jedi, right? We got the rage and the bloodlust that Kylo Ren has towards Luke, because what he has is this bloodlust towards Ben Solo. He's trying to stamp him out. This is why I kind of like, are we going to see Anakin here? Maybe. And I still wonder if we will, because, I mean, this is called Legacy of Vader. And what I developed through Charles Soule's to the 2017 Vader run is Darth Vader is the failed attempt to forget Anakin Skywalker, which means that Kylo Ren is the failed attempt to forget Ben Solo. And this whole comic is really exploring that. And in both, guess who is the one who reminds them? Guess is the one who says, no, this is who you really are, is Luke Skywalker. Is Luke on the floor on the Death Star and over Endor. Father, help me. Here in this comic, I don't care about Kylo Ren. I only have time for Ben Solo, and he is taking the time for Ben Solo, even to the end, after the end, and pulling him out of that. So, yeah, I mean, this isn't the very end of the comic, but this seems to be this is really, I think, where, at least up until this point, this whole run has been leading, because where it is ultimately leading, I've said this multiple times, is Exegol, or not Exegol, but Kef Bir. Speaking of Endor and the Death Star, but is that confrontation with Han, where he chucks the lightsaber. Speaking of all these resonances coming up, so we get some of this even in the JJ films, which I kind of lampoon, but Charles really teasing this out.
I mean, I think you're not giving them enough credit, quite frankly. I think we get
that's probably true. Yeah, that's probably fair. Well, but Charles teasing out those connections between Endor and Kef Bir and the Death Star, and the return of Ben Solo and the return of Anakin Skywalker, and how, I mean, even that close up on Luke's face, right? Ryan Johnson and the cinematography of The Last Jedi, we got that close up of Luke's face, kind of where it comes from. And so, yeah, really bringing that out. Joel, let's do, what really struck you about the role of Luke in this comic, not just the lore and the Force mysticism, whatever, Force heaven, but why? Like, why Luke? Why is Kylo so obsessed with him? And what do we see in this comic?
Well, my first takeaway was, wow, this is way better than Duel of the Fates, the Colin Trevorrow version, where they actually did this. Because in that version, Luke Skywalker just like, I don't care about you, Kylo Ren. Luke gives up on Kylo. It's like he said, "You're no Skywalker." That's actually kind of the most thing I hate about Duel of the Fates, where everyone says, "Oh, that would have been better." Like, do you really want Luke and Leia to be like, "Oh no, Ben Solo's irredeemable. He's the big bad"? Like, that's how it comes off. If you read that script. So that's better. It's very Luke. Let me get to it in my. I also feel like there's a little bit of meta storytelling going on about like Luke almost telling the audience about like who are still mad that Luke died. He's like, no one killed me. I sacrificed my life for others in service of something greater. I died for my friends and family and for the people who don't know all across the galaxy so they could live in peace and light. That's what my life is for. I feel like Luke's almost telling the audience of like, guys, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's the hero's way.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah.
I love how literal they were.
Yeah.
Like this is the definitive answer of why this happened. There's no in between the lines. This is why he did it. I love how sometimes it's good to have stuff just nebulous, but in this case, where the community and the fan base was so crazy, it's like, all right, this is the answer here. Take it. If you don't like it, oh well. Like,
it's wild to me that's in doubt. Like, do people watch The Last Jedi and not catch that?
Oh yeah, they still think Luke was ruined and they messed him up. And
I thought I did. They thought of the earlier stuff where he's given up and that's why he's Octo.
Oh, there's a
But
lot of people who still can't comprehend that final part. They just think it's
Yeah, they're
depressing.
like, why did he die? Like that made no sense.
I
Now
thought
we
that was
know.
obvious.
Like you read this comic, it tells you
All
exactly
right.
why.
I also like this
Seemed obvious
moment
to me,
where
but okay. Sorry, go on.
where Ben is like, why did you teach her and not me? And it's like, she wanted to learn. Although
Yeah.
I kind of find that a little hypocritical of Luke. Like, Luke, buddy, you were kind of antagonistic with her for like a good chunk of the movie. I feel like you're trying to cover your own butt here, buddy.
Yeah.
And then it's I also, of course, I like Force Heaven and the other Jedi. Like, hey, you shouldn't be here. And Luke's like, hey, you guys, I know he's a little messed up, but he's here, so he's probably reason. So chill, Force Ghost. You can even see like some of the silhouettes. I think I see like Anakin and Mace and Qui-Gon, and or maybe I'm just looking at seeing things. From looking at the ghost silhouettes. Oh no, wait, there's the Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda one. I think because it looks like
There's
just
definitely
something
Yoda in there. That's obvious, but
And then it's like hey, Kylo, why are you here? Why are you in Force Heaven? Well, or I'm just gonna call it Force Heaven.
How'd you get here?
No, he's like, hey, maybe there's a reason, maybe if the Lightsiders got here, And then of course I love his final line where it's like, I don't really care about Kylo Ren, but Ben Solo, if you ever need my help, I'll always be there for you. You're my blood.
Yeah.
You were talking about Anakin earlier. It would be cool because I just think that would be something interesting. But it's again one of those things where I'm like, I don't know, Anakin Skywalker in the Hayden Christensen form. I feel like maybe we as fans overestimate just how important he is to Kylo Ren, unlike Vader. And I just don't feel like he's
I don't think they should do it.
I kind of don't think so either. I just don't think
it ruins it. Like
I don't
like
think he contributes
he idolizes Vader for being this evil character that is so powerful.
Yeah.
You look at Hayden's Anakin, and it's like, well, there's this is the redeemable version of Vader. I don't think he should be able to witness that or experience that because it might sway his thoughts, and we know how he ends up in Rise of Skywalker. So I think that would kind of break the lore a little bit in my eyes.
Not only that, it's like, well, I mean, depends on Charles Soule's going with the Force Awakens novelization, which again 50-50. He knows what happens to Vader. As far as he's concerned, he looked at Anakin like, you're a failure. You're you loser. I'm gonna do what you can't. And also, I've always kind of feel like doesn't really have a relationship with Anakin. It's just memories and stories where like his emotional core is like with his dad, with his mom. Like that's why I always say like more Leia who gets Ben Solo back than it does Rey, because Leia's the one who called out to him in that final moment. True. So I think that's Ben kind of coming home to his mom and dad at that point as well. So like I think Anakin just kind of would be like, you're not contributing anything to the conversation here, and you're not going to help.
Yeah. I mean, I have two thoughts there.
Anakin's story's kind of done at this point. It's like,
well, I mean, what we also need more of Anakin Luke is what we also need, but that's a different comic. That's a different story.
That should be the mainline story. Get Charles go back on the mainline.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say though is, so what Anakin would do is subvert that narrative of, oh, I was a failure. I was the weak one, and subverting the idolization of it. That being said, I take your guys' point.
I just don't think that's interesting. I just don't think that's very
sure. Well, what's more interesting is that if it's not Anakin that does it, but Luke, because Luke
and
is
Han
the one
and Leia,
like you said, and Han and Leia. I mean, we see
Han
more
Leia,
or the memory of Han at least, but definitely, Luke and Luke's Force Ghost doing it is certainly more meaningful to Ben, right? And so, I do get your point there. I do think it is something to be said. There's something to think, oh, maybe I was wrong about Anakin. Could I be wrong about Ben? Is the thought there. But again, that would be more for Luke to communicate as opposed to Anakin. Because, like you said, Ben has a relationship with Luke. So I see your point.
I mean, I do think I would be surprised
I'm a
though.
And I just want to see that, but
I mean, it's possible because I do think one thing we will see. Actually, I do think we might actually get this. I do think I can totally see Kylo fighting Vader. Because that was supposed to happen in Duel of Fates anyway. And also, there's that's a vision of Vader or something. It's going to be. Am I?
Yeah. No, we're
Can you
good.
hear me? Okay, I can see
Yep.
maybe Kylo fighting a vision of Vader and then doing the old mask half thing, and then maybe Hayden's face
Yeah.
fully
Maybe.
unscarred pops in, which it could happen. That could always
That'd be
happen. Where,
interesting.
So I want to talk about one thing because it's
Yeah.
about the vision, which again, I talked.
This is still like the
said-
Force Heaven vision.
No, I want to talk about the aftermath of the Force Heaven vision.
Okay, well, first, Chris, I want you to jump in. So
Yeah.
hold the thought, because
Okay.
Chris hasn't jumped in for this one. Like, what do you think of everything we've talked about so far, and this whole Force Heaven vision, Luke?
Yeah, I like the insolence that once again Kylo Ren displays with his rashness and his meaning to just constantly go to action without thinking. Because he was calling out Luke, going, basically he wants to kill him again, like his way.
Yeah.
And then Luke is like, well, to kill me, you'd have to destroy the Force, which would basically destroy you and everything in the whole galaxy, because there's no getting rid of me. Like, I am part of the cosmic force. You cannot destroy the cosmic force. So yeah, think about it. So I thought that was pretty funny, because it's like, you just can't tune him out. He's there. What are you gonna do about it? Sorry.
Can't shut him up. So, I mean, what really strikes me here is Luke is presenting to Kylo everything that is antithetical to Kylo. Like, Kylo doesn't understand. Yes, Luke was kind of hard to Rey, but Rey was definitely open, willing to learn, and curious. And Kylo doesn't understand that. Here's the thing. Kylo, I mean, that's the thing. What are you doing here, Kylo Ren? You're a Darksider. Kylo understands that. That's kind of this sort of justice, or power, if you will. Maybe he thinks, I can invade wherever I want. But at some level, I think it's, if someone in the First Order transgresses against him, he's going to be swift to mete out justice there. But Joel, think of your point. That's the thing about the cosmic force. It's outside of time. It knows what's going to happen. And so,
Yes,
it knows what's going to happen. So I think that's the answer. The reason he's able to go in there and have this vision, this access, is because Ben Solo is going to come back and he's going to be redeemed. And so the cosmic force gets that, knows that. And so, World Between Worlds. It's another type of thing. This is right with kind of outside
Netherworld
of time.
of the Force, to quote.
The Netherworld of the Force, which is wild that we see it. So it again. It's this confrontation that is going to provoke. I mean, ultimately with Leia and Han, like you said, like we see in the Rise of Skywalker, going to provoke this turn of heart, this turn of face.
I'm gonna just temper our expectations a little bit for the finale, because
sure,
again, I don't know how much time has passed. Like, again, that's something. I mean, they never state. They kind of never do. But if not much time has passed post Rise of Skywalker, post the Last Jedi, let's say a month has only passed in this entire issue, maybe a little bit more, like maybe a month and a half. That's still like what you got. 8 months still of Kylo Ren leadering, and he's in the start of Rise of Skywalker, he's still pretty gun ho about everything. Like even in the book, if you read the novelization, Kylo's like the reason why he's going hunting Palpatine, or the voice of Palpatine's like, hey, I'm the new big bad. I'm just ancient dumb emperor guy think he can take my galaxy. I'll show him. I'm gonna kick his butt. I can't. I think we're still a long ways away from Kylo having a big turn of heart anytime soon, especially.
We see it in Rise of Skywalker. Is my point.
True, but I kind of wonder how much you can push that, where it's not like, why didn't he turn?
I see what you're saying. I do think Charles is setting it up somehow. Maybe we'll get an answer to how much time has passed in whatever issue number 12.
2 issues ago, and there's a lot of loose ends, though. I get what you're saying. Like, whole stuff with he's got to come in contact with the Knights of Ren again before the end of the series, because we got to figure out what the hell happened with Teva Ren.
Yeah.
Why is she not in charge, and why is he in the good graces of the Knights after he hasn't seen him for 5 or 6 years at this point, or whatever it's been. So There's a lot of heavy lifting. I don't know. I feel like it's going to end kind of unsatisfying until we get the announcement that there's going to be a continuation of another 12 issues like 6 months down the line.
Or they just leave it up in the air. Because, I mean, that's the thing. We know with Marvel, they're only committing to so many issues. If there's anything that has a chance of getting renewed, it's this one, because I'm sure the sales are doing so great. But I don't know. I actually wonder if like Joel, what you're saying, maybe it's only part way and we don't fully know how it gets back to the. I mean, I'm sure Charles has an idea, but
well, it might be again. We want only be a month out of Last Jedi. This entire run could have been just for us. It's been a year. For Kylo Ren, it's only been 1 month.
Possible. What I mean is, I actually, Chris, I don't know if they're going to answer that about with the Knights of Ren at all, because this is going to be this arc is so focused on Luke. These 3 issues are so focused on Luke and Vader, and Mustafar. So maybe in an epilogue, I don't know. But anyway, Joel, you had a question about the very end, right? The aftermath. There.
Not the very end. Hang on, let me get I had a question about this moment right here.
Yeah.
When this So, okay.
Yeah, who do we think that
I
is?
think it's easy for fans to think this might be Palpatine because he's like, you tried to flee your destiny to return to the light. You tried to forget your pain. You must be reminded. And then, gets out of the nightmare. I think it's easy to think that. I just think it's just probably like Kylo's own darkness manifested in his head, reminding him. I don't think it's Palpatine kind of like, hey, I got a plan for you to possess your body, boy. You got to be dark for me before I can do that. I mean, I know it's easy to think that, it's got a hood and a cloak, but I just think it's just Kylo's own mental state just messes with him, and then he wakes up and Vinay puts him in the back of the tank and go to the next issue. That's my interpretation of that moment, and not that it's like Palpatine manipulating things from Exegol and keeping an eye on stuff. I mean, it could be him at the end, and that might get that reveal. But
I mean, even like it's weird. Like his face, he looks so much older. Here on page.
I think
19.
that's just the stress and the kind of the zombie.
Yeah, maybe.
Going back to Duel of the Fates, I think I don't know why I thought it was Plagueis, but I remember Plagueis was going to be in the movie.
No, that was Tor Valum. You think of Tor.
Tor Valum.
Plagueis' master.
Oh, interesting.
Oh. I remember a very tall, brooding character with a hood, I think, in the script, right? The description was...
Nah, it's a very monster-looking guy. But anyway...
It could still work, because Plagueis found out how to live forever, so there you go. He's living in a nightmare forever to haunt these other acolytes' dreams.
Maybe could be Momin.
That'd be fun.
No, I think that what you're saying makes sense, though. I mean, it's kind of I thought Yoda speaking of the Yoda arc, right? That his dark side, he's able to pull him in because it's Yoda. He's so much part about the light.
I mean, look, if that face is revealed to be Hayden Christensen with red eyes, I mean, I could see that happening too.
Sure,
but probably.
I mean, I think it's maybe his ideal version of who Kylo Ren should be. Is someone who like his worship of Vader in that sense, but it also, I mean, this again makes me think of the end of Kieran Gillen's run where we get that's the Anakin versus Vader moment. Right in this spot, basically, right on the high ground at Mustafar. So yeah, that war within him. Although this is clearly Kylo Ren in his body there, but yeah, I do like that idea. I hadn't thought too much about it. I don't know, Chris, what do you think? What strikes you about that moment?
About the ending here,
or about this dark character. This cloaked character.
I thought it was a crazy Nightmare on Elm Street moment, right? Like he comes out of the thing and he's got like freaking battle wounds. Like, what the hell kind of dark sorcery is this? And the idea that he like is following in his grandfather's footsteps of like needing that back to tank immediately, floating in there. Reminding me of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, all those sequences we've seen him in there.
Yeah.
So that was my thought. I was like, oh crap, like are we gonna even address like what happened here in the next 2 issues? Because this is like some crazy stuff we've never seen in Star Wars before.
Yeah, I think we will. I mean, I think we gotta, right? It's this cliffhanger.
I think the
almost.
Vision's still going. I think that's the thing. I think the Vision's not ending. I think we still got. I mean, no, I think he did wake up and go in the vacuum tank.
Yeah.
I just think it's now okay. That was Vision Part 1. Time for Part 2. It's gonna get even more psychedelic and crazy.
Oof.
Kind of like OSHA. In
no, I was thinking more like Vader's cap.
Sort of, but in sense of putting a mask on.
Oh, that Vision.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind goes there. But yeah, no, he's definitely probably going to go the caves of Mustafar. You know, we know what's down there. You know, where Vader bled his crystal, which is
I just read that like 2 days ago. Yeah. Great moment.
So
I'm talking about the last arc of Souls comic where he's like.
Right, where he tries to bring Padme back and. With Moment. So I mean, there's Moment in there, but
it's that arc where it's like PC Palpatine and his mom, and like unnatural, and everyone thought like, oh my god, Palpatine did that to his mom.
Well, yeah, the "I am your father" theory, that is obviously not what that comic is saying, but really setting up leading to a lot. Maybe before we go to the very end, I do want to talk about can talk a bit more about the skulls.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know, because we seem to bypass that one. The skulls, and then we mentioned the skulls, we mentioned the flashbacks with Luke. I mean, even the description, this grotesque visions of his past, right? I mean, all of this whole issue, at least, is, I mean, it's Laura Santeca. You can never escape whatever the legacy of your family, whatever the line is, right? It's these grotesque tentacles that, for Kylo Ren, for Ben Solo, they're happy, fun memories, but Kylo Ren is trying to stuff Ben Solo down, and so for Kylo Ren, there are these grotesque threats to his sense of dominance and authority over the galaxy, because that's in the dark side.
I've been a different take on the skulls. I see them more as sort of self-loathing than a lot of self-loathing.
No, maybe like himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of.
Here's the thing.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, I think this is the sense of like self-loathing and guilt manifesting as like, well, he thinks like, I think the whole thing is Kylo thinks all these people hate him deep down and like want him dead.
Yeah.
And I think what Kylo doesn't realize is like, I think this is something Rise of Skywalker, especially read the novel, kind of get into, like, Leia kind of doesn't care. I mean, in a sense, like, she's like, just come home, kid. Come home. That's all we care. We want you to come home. We don't care if you committed war crimes. We don't care. Just come home. We want our son back.
I mean, I think it could be both, right? It could probably and they could be one and the same, in the sense of his connections to his family, right, in his past. That's the thing, if you're in the dark, the light seems like darkness. The light seems like this creeping, suffocating control, when it's really people trying to help, right? That's what it is. Chris, do you have thoughts on that? All that?
Yeah, no, the control is being. Yeah, I mean, the idea of the whole thing with Kylo Ren and Leia, and seeing past all these things he committed, right? Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? But it's just the maternal instinct. I agree. I agree with Joel. And it's just no matter what you do, your parents should kind of be there for you. They're going to be critical, but you got that paternal love that'll be everlasting and all that. So for me, it's good to see. I wonder, that's one thing, is we haven't really delved too much with his thoughts on his mother, really. I mean, this kind of goes into that, obviously, with all the different characters he has interacted with on those crazy spine devices. But I'd like to see a little bit, maybe in the next 2 issues we'll be able to get like more flashbacks with him and his mother, specifically, because obviously in the Rise of Skywalker is such a strong connection through the Force there at that moment. So I'd like to see more of that.
I would love that too, and I think you know, kind of I want to talk about. I don't know if this is spoiler, but I would say like Charles did that cryptic tweet of like, I gotta think about writing Ben Solo as happy. And I think a lot of people obviously think of him and Rey. And, that probably may be in this perfect world. He and Rey would be the bad BFFs, maybe more. But I do think there is obviously that close connection to. I think he wants that connection with his dad, and I think he's always had a close connection to Leia. And it's one of the things I think unfortunately, Rise of Skywalker just couldn't do, not because of anything. I just think because Carrie passed, so you can't. Though that was something, unfortunately, that just couldn't get unless you read the novel. But again, novel can allow Carrie Fisher to live more. Unfortunately, but even in Last Jedi, we see he's about to attack the ship, but he can't do it because he senses Leia's there. He can't do it to his ma, and then that takes the other First Order ship to kind of do it for him. You kind of had the moment of kind of like, oh, what happened?
The hesitation.
So I do think, you're right. I kind of hope that maybe this comic can emphasize it's a bit more like, what is his relationship with Leia? Because I do think that is much like Rey, maybe even more so, where a lot of his burning light is, even more than with his dad and anybody, and Luke in particular. Because I think I hesitate to maybe make this statement, but I feel like Leia's probably one of the few people outside of maybe Rey who he feels like who failed him the least. Like he definitely has that disappointment with Han about like, oh, you were absent dad, whether or not that's true or not. Luke obviously kind of almost tried to kill him, so I can kind of see where he's a little bit pissed off about that. But I wonder with Leia's like Leia did the least harm, and obviously Leia, even though she's fighting her son's factions, like, just come home. That's all I want. I don't care. We can figure out war crimes trials, whatever later. Just come home, kid. Come home to some soup. So I think we definitely emphasize that, hopefully, in the last two.
Leia cooking. I don't know if we've ever even seen that. I see her as like the Uber Eats and Star Wars world kind of thing.
We'll get an Uber.
She's too busy. She's doing political stuff all the time, or she's running commanding armies.
Let 3PO and R2. There you go. Let 3PO and R2 handle the cooking. With Padme in the Clone Wars, early Clone Wars, gets Padme gets them to get the melee run from Coruscant. But I mean, so all this is getting me to think. That quote from Charles the tweet. Again, that what we see Vader doing when he bleeds the crystal is he's like you said, tempted by the light. Like this black figure. If we can get to it, the quote here, is saying you tried to return to the light. You have to be reminded. I think he's gonna. I wonder, specifically if he's gonna have this vision. We've seen these again to talk about these flashbacks. We see these flashbacks with Luke. I think there's a good bet of having these positive memories with his mother, and it's gonna. You say there's a lot of time, a lot of leeway, but I really do think I'm really convinced that the story Charles is telling is what gets Kylo Ren to turn and become Ben Solo in Rise of Skywalker. I do think that's ultimately what this comic is about. Maybe because that is kind of the legacy of Vader. It is, at least for us, is the legacy of Anakin is returning. Again, you're right. We don't need Anakin. I just want it because I'm a prequelist. I do want to see. I'm with you, Joe. I want to see these stories with Leia and and him being tempted to return, right? Him being tempted to maybe just like with Vader, that encounter strengthens his resolve with the First Order. Strengthens his resolve to then go get back the Knights of Ren. But something about that encounter with Leia's memories, it's gonna be pivotal because it's motherhood in Star Wars is also, it isn't as explored as fatherhood, but it's there in the sense of who are you at your core, in the I mean, this is a bit stereotypical, but in the protective and nurturing and strengthening, building up. I mean, even with Leia in Leia Prince of Alderaan, her relationship with Bail and Breya, right? Going into that, everything, even Luke and Leia remembering Padme, even these glimmers of her, and so yeah, that this is a great opportunity. Yeah, I hope this is where it gets explored. Oh, because that's particular to Kylo, right? Leia doesn't have much to do with Vader's castle with Mustafar, but she has everything to do with Ben Solo because she's the primarily responsible for his existence. so I hope so. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any further thoughts on, I guess, kind of this end and what happens next.
No, I really hope Leia's emphasized in these last few issues. I think she's gonna be, because that's who I always felt like did the heavy lifting of getting Ben back to the light, quite frankly. And I think that's what the book really tries to emphasize as well. I think the movie just couldn't because, again, Carrie's not with us.
That would have been Leia on Kefir. We all know that.
I would have been Leia on Kefir, and just more Leia scenes in general. So I definitely think that, and obviously she's gonna be like a big role being Rey's master. She's constantly more Rey's master than Luke was, quite frankly, and
way more. That's what that book is going to get into. The book is going to tell us all
she's
about
kind
that.
of the legacy of she's kind of the Grand Master legacy of the sequels. So yeah, just keep emphasizing Leia.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's kind of gets through it. And gives them anything we didn't touch on you want to dive into, Chris? Any last thoughts?
No, I two more issues, and crazy. This thing's gonna be over in January. And we'll have a large blank slate ahead in February for us. So I'm very curious about that.
Watch them just announce something in the middle of the day on a Tuesday. And
they'll do that. They won't make news at Comic-Con, either San Diego or New York, but they'll just put out the Tuesday at 12 p.m. posts.
The Maul Shadow Lord trailer is gonna be looking at our phone, see a notification like some random time on YouTube.
It's gonna be fun though. It's been kind of fun though that this comic's been a whole year. It has kind of filled the gap of 2025 as we go into the next one. So that's been nice.
Yeah, that's been really nice. I was thinking about that the other day as well. A whole 12 months of a Star Wars comic, and I was thinking like, wow, it's the first double-digit Star Wars comic we've gotten in over a year.
That's true.
We're so used to being in like the 60s and the 70s in some case for some of these issues, and now that we finally got to 10, it's like we finally got there. Oh wait, it's only ending in 2 issues now.
Yeah. We know Jedi Knights is gonna get there. But that's it. Yeah, it's true. That's it. Definitely, Legacy of Vader and Jedi Knights are the two standouts from 2025. That's not controversial. That is a very lukewarm take. There. Anyway, Joel, you have any last thoughts on this one as well?
Nope, great issue. I can't wait to see what more psychedelic Force stuff, and I'm curious if we'll see what's in the vault. I know good story tropes. My guess is nothing is in the vault, and it's gonna be like one of those "it's you all along" kind of a situation where, like, you think you picked up, and it's like, no, it's just you. Like, and there's like a mirror in front of you, or something.
Only what you bring with you.
Yeah, pretty much. It's gonna be like the cave, where it's like it's not some weapon or some MacGuffin. It's just like it was you all along.
I mean, I kind of thought we saw, like, in this issue, what's in the vault.
No, he didn't. He didn't get into the vault. He kind of goes in the circle and gets kicked out.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I do wonder. There's something to that. Maybe not. Maybe something more about legacy, specifically about Vader. That's possible. We shall see. Spiral, just like Undiscovered Country has a big spiral around America. This is a little spiral around this vault. There we go. Get shout out to Charles, Star Wars adjacent there. Yes, the spiral. All right. Speaking of comics. We are now for now caught up, Chris, believe it or not. Next week, Tides of Terror number 3, ongoing number 7, ongoing. I shouldn't even call it ongoing anymore. And Hunt for the Falcon number 3.
Mainline. There, you can call it mainline.
Mainline,
mainline, whatever. Just call it Star Wars.
Even though they don't
3,
treat it like it's flagship because they haven't talked about it the last 2 major conventions for some reason.
That just probably means they're done.
It's going to be called New Republic or something. Yeah.
Isn't it already called New
Hunt for the
Republic?
Falcon number 3. I think the collected edition is going to be called that. Okay. Something like that. They're gonna pull
which is like way too general in my opinion. Like you're not gonna tell me in like 30 years from now there's gonna be another guy that's gonna have a big New Republic sweeping story and it's like, oh wait, we already called this 10-issue series New Republic.
Whatever.
Should have been a little bit more specific than that. Call it like the whatever the hell the district is, the sector that they're fighting. It should be called something to do with
the Fenral. The Fenral sector.
The Fenral
Crisis in the Fenral sector.
Yeah.
Call it like the something uprising based off those aliens. What's the aliens' name called? The main faction, the Kamasi.
Oh yeah.
Call it like the Kamasi uprising.
Legends guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not called the Kamasi.
Or Crisis. Yeah, I like Crisis in the Fenral sector, but yeah, Kamasi uprising, Birth of the New Republic, New Republic birth pangs. Kind of very Legends. I don't know. We're just speculating or just imagining things. But yeah, Tides of Terror number 3. That's going to be the continued exploits of Kit Fisto and
I want to see more archaeological mythology that George Mann is so good at. Right now it's just kind of like Jaws, which has been fun for 2 issues, but I'm hoping we get a little bit more meat on the bones with this one.
Yep. Also, Hunt for the Falcon, I mean, there's another, at least Ben Solo has a little bit to do in that one, but
love that series.
That's good. Yeah, again, 3, 7, and 3. No double digits there, but that's okay. You can look forward to that. But yeah, that does it for Tractor Beam Comics reviews. Chris, thanks so much for continuing on this wonderful journey we're on. I'll get to the plugs for you first. What's going on over on Star Raptor and OTR and all that, and where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, right now on OTR, my weekly Star Wars podcast. So I use weekly loosely on that one because we've been taking breaks here and there. Things have been a little slower, but for the next 2 weeks going forward, we're going to be continuing our coverage of Star Wars Visions, the anthology, Volume 3. We talked about the first 3 shorts last week. We'll talk about another 3 this upcoming Sunday. And then the following Sunday, we'll be finishing up with the last 3 shorts there. So that's 7 o'clock Eastern, youtube.com/StarRaptor. I also have been uploading different content. The shorts over there is something I'm trying out. So I got like a little breakdown of, Luke meets Kylo again kind of thing. Like a minute and 15-second short. Just a little canon lore dump for you guys that are digestible, easy to watch content with some cool images of the comics there overlaid. So check it out if you want to see some more artwork there. And by the way, Disney Plus now has an entire channel dedicated 24/7 live streaming Star Wars animation. I just turned it on to see what's on here. Right now, they're showing Star Wars Droid Tales, which I've never even seen this before. I don't even know what this is, so I might have to just keep watching after this podcast ends.
There you go. I think it's similar to the Star Wars Kids YouTube thing that they do. I know they have.
This is a full-fledged it's like a 20-minute plus episode.
Yeah, I think Star Wars Kids, they have like a live stream with their YouTube channel has a live stream with Clone Wars.
Yeah, they had Bad Batch earlier today. I'm just happy that they have Star Wars in a live streaming format. I think they used to have the channel where it was like Heroes, so it'd be like 50% Marvel, 50% Star Wars. So now seeing Star Wars all the time is just it's great. Because sometimes I just want to be idling something on in the background. Yeah, I can turn on some good old Star Wars animation.
There we go. Joel, thanks again for coming on. Whenever we do this Legacy of Vader run, your thoughts are always very welcome. Where can they find us on the internet? Where can they find you on the internet?
Yes, and also, Chris, every time I used to go to that Heroes one, it was always an X-Men movie. I never got Star Wars. It was always an X-Men movie. Watched X2 that way. You can find me at GID20234 on Blue Sky, GID20234 on Blue Sky. You can find me and Matthew, of course, at the Ion Cannon podcast, Mondays live at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Last week we talked about human centrism in Star Wars. Very heavy topic. Also, plug for me, you might find me on the main channel, on the main show tomorrow, talking about the next 5 episodes of Star Wars Visions, which I was on last week, talked about the previous 4. So excitement for that. And of course, check out the Star Wars Underworld Discord game night Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
There we go. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, check out the flagship. I promise I will finish the last order. I will read a bunch of chapters tonight, and so we can review it on Monday. Here's hoping. You can find me, my personals at MNUG 1138, as you can see on the screen. That's my Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Mostly Insta stories, but also a bit of Blue Sky and a bit of Threads there. My personal Twitter, NEUG485. Also, my Insta stories are where I usually post things nowadays, and Facebook. If you know me personally, check that out as well. Like I said, Ion Cannon. This Monday, chatting about the Last Order, that novel, and then we're gonna flip it right around and get into Master of Evil mode.
Yeah.
After that,
Yay.
so when if I can finish that one, but talking politics. Talking crazy gold medallions. That's an SNL reference, I think. So check that out. And then right back here at same Catacoot time, same Catacoot channel. Go to check out your local comic book shop for Tides of Terror #3, Star Wars New Republic, whatever it's called, #7, and Hunt for the Falcon #3. And we will see you next week for that. Chris, Joel, happy reading.